Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. It's Mike with FlowTrack. So we got an exciting lunch and learn event today. Although Charles was mentioning to me, he thought that lunch and earn sounds like a better name. So I think I like that idea. I think we're going to be going with lunch and earn. But today we're going to be going over how you can use some of the features inside the chat widgets. And we're going to be diving into that. So I just want to say happy Monday. I see some people chiming in saying happy Monday as well. Thank you back at you. Lunch and launch, lunch and earn, all great names. So keep them coming. And as always, if you guys have any questions or comments, please drop them in the chat below. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe and like button. I appreciate that. So today we're going to be going over a really cool feature, and it's called identity verification or validation, and it's built into the chat. And so let's talk about what that is really quick and why you would want to use this. So there's many cases, including our own case for support, where you want to make sure that the person you're talking to in the chat widget is the person you think it is, right? And so an example of this is when we're doing support for FlowTrack, we already know who you are, right? Because you're logged in on our website. So we don't need to actually ask the user, please enter your name, your email, all that good stuff. We can actually just pass that data to the chat widget. So when you start chatting with us, we know who you are. It automatically validates your identity. And no one can impersonate that because we do some secret server-side stuff that I'm going to show you today. So you can have that identity verification. So if you're using this chat widget on any other third-party service or website where you have users and you want to verify them, this is going to be the video for you. So let's go ahead and dive in. So this is an example of the chat widget on a website, but this would be a use case where you're chatting with known people. So it's typically something behind a login page. So they've already authenticated. So let's dive in. So we're going to be going over this, and this is actually in the Help Docs portal. So as a reminder, you guys can go to support.flowtrack.co. This is a new guide in here. It's under the chat section. And then under here, it says set up identity verification on the website chat widget. And so we're going to be going over this right now. So let's dive in. So this allows you to make your conversations or keep your conversations private so no one can impersonate another user. And to get started, we want to make sure that you actually have a chat inbox. Chat inbox is the first step in using the website chat widget. So you want to navigate to chat and then go ahead and click on inboxes. And from here, you'll be able to see one of your website chat widgets. Now, if you haven't already created one, just go ahead and click on the green add inbox icon here, and you can create the website chat widget. Now, I already did that, so I'm just going to go back and I'm going to click on one of these right here. And if you guys have any questions, even not related to this, drop them in the comments because we are going to be answering those at the end. This is going to be a pretty quick and easy, simple video. So I'm going to start diving into the questions and answers at the end. So in the inbox settings, obviously you can customize the avatar and the welcome message and the color and all that good stuff. But what we're going to be looking for is actually under configuration. And under configuration, this is the snippet of JavaScript that you can paste on any website, whether it's your FlowTrack hosted website or a website on WordPress or any other system out there. And so we're going to be working with this snippet right here. And the other value that we're going to want is the user identity validation token. This is going to be the token that we use to securely hash the ID of the user. And let's go over where we can use that. So first step is go ahead and copy this script, copy this token, and then we're actually going to want to check this box right here. This box is going to determine if you want to reject chats that don't have this token, the user identity verified or not. If the user doesn't have the identity verified and this is not checked, it's just going to show a little orange alert saying, warning, this person is not verified. I'm going to leave this off by default. And let's dive into the help doc. So once we opened up the inbox settings and we captured this token, the next thing we have to do is we have to build our little snippet of JavaScript. So this snippet right here we have in the help doc, you see is very different than the one that we have over here. The one that we have over here is very simple, right? Because we're not working with known users. These are anonymous website visitors. So this one's a little bit shorter. But in the help docs, we just published the code so you guys can actually set the information of your visitor. So in here, you'll see a few fields that are interesting. The first is the website token, right? This is the token of your inbox. So going back to the other screen, you're going to see that we have a website token right here. So we want to make sure that that is referencing the right inbox. And the next, what we're going to see is the set user command. So set user is where we can pass the user's information to the chat widget to verify them. So there's a few parts to this. One is a user ID. Now, if you're working with known users inside FlowTrack, this is the ID of the user that actually shows up in the URL. So it's going to be like a 5 or 6 digit random alphanumeric value. You can paste that in here. And then you can paste in the name of the user too. So I just put in variables in here as an example, but you can do first name, last name. You can put in an avatar URL if you want. That'll pop up their icon in the chat. And then you got their email address. And then you have this identifier hash, right? And this is where the ID verification comes in. This hash is generated server-side using this secret value. So the secret value we got right here, that's the value we're going to use to hash the ID. So we do have an example of this down below. It's just a SHA 256 hash. So basically you just pass in the user ID and you pass in the hash secret and it generates for you this identifier hash. So that's the example of this today. So anyone that wants to use identity verification inside the chat widget, now you can. And we have the working example that we actually use at FlowTrack. So you can start verifying your chats. So that's as easy as it is once you have that. And again, this piece has to be generated server side, right? So you're going to be using some sort of server side technology, whether it's PHP or Node or whatever, but you got to generate that hash. So when the JavaScript loads, we know we're talking to the right person. So that's as easy as that is. You can drop it in your website, and then you're going to start being able to chat with known people. So if I go back into one of the chat inboxes right here, and I pull up some chat, you're going to see if it's an identity verified user or not an identity verified user, you're going to see a little like a little orange alert box that shows up next to the name. And it's only visible on the website chat widget. So that way you're going to see if the person is verified or not. So great little tool in here for anyone that needs it. And now I'm going to start diving into some of the questions on the chat. So let's dive in. So first person saying, does user validation mean that the same user can continue the same conversation from the mobile or desktop app from a web browser? Absolutely. So if they are identity verified, they can resume the same conversation across different devices. So that is really cool. Now, I do want to point your attention to another setting in there that's going to be really important to you guys if you want that conversation continuity. And there's a setting in here that is called allow users to end conversation from the widget. So if this is checked, allow users to end conversation from the widget, you may get new conversations because by default, people just click chat now and they start a new conversation. So you may want to leave that unchecked. So you just kind of have this forever conversation that keeps going and you always have that history or that context with the user. We actually have this one disabled on our chat personally because it's always great to have that context. You can always scroll up and see the chat history. It's easier than chasing down another conversation. So great question on there. Let's say, let's see, this person's asking, are there font libraries in the site builder? So yeah, we got tons of fonts in there. So we actually use Google fonts for everything. So inside the website builder, you can open that up and we got tons and tons of fonts in there. So go ahead and open up the page right here. I'm gonna start from an empty page. So when you click on some text and you open up a font, there's a list that looks like, oh, there's only 20 fonts or something like that. But actually, if you just type in a letter, right, and you can start searching for the font that you want, like here's the A's, like all the fonts that start with an A, you can see there's a lot, and then there's the B's and all that. So there's a ton of fonts. I think it's like 1,000 or 2,000 or something crazy. It's basically all of Google's font list, which is a really big list. So great question on that. Now, if there's something in there that a font that you need that's not in the list, maybe it's not a Google font, of course you can go ahead and set that in your site settings as just to include that custom HTML for your font library. So great question. Let's go on to the next one. So we got someone asking about can you see Chat Cloud replacing Zendesk, Freshdesk, etc.? So absolutely. So that's where we're going with this, right? So we actually used to use, Intercom, and now we exclusively use our built-in chat. So there's lots of great features in the chat I think you guys will love. Not only do we have the reporting, so you can see, agent activity, their status, and you got reporting down on like everything, like customer satisfaction, agents, labels, teams, inboxes, all that good stuff. So you have tons of options in there. Now, one of my favorite ways to actually use the chat is to use the labels. So if you guys haven't seen this already, you do have the ability to add custom labels. So you can make one for like sales, one for support, one for needs follow-up, right? You can have all sorts of different labels. And the cool thing about that is these labels actually show up here in your dropdown. So I got a ton of inboxes here on my test account, but you'll see at the bottom here, or maybe you can't because that's hidden. Okay, there you go. Now you see at the bottom here, I got a label that says sales. So if you click on that, it's going to filter the conversations that have been specifically tagged with sales. So if you click on this, you'll see I have a label right here, sales. You can always add and remove that. Super easy, but that's why we built in, the team capabilities and assign to different agents and all of that, because we want to be able to replace Freshdesk and Zendesk and all of that. So there's lots of good options in here, so you guys can customize the chat. So great question on that. And let's dive into another question. The person says, that's amazing. Well, thank you. Definitely tell the team's been crushing it right now. So another person saying you lost me on generating the hash. Well, that part is going to be a technical thing. So if that's over your head, you're probably not doing identity verification in your business or in your particular use case, right? That's going to be more of you have an existing product or service, or you would be like a customer of Intercom or Freshdesk or Zendesk or one of those. So definitely not for everyone. And let's say we got a person asking, so regarding the inbox, can we as agencies have someone manage multiple inboxes from different clients? So that's a great question. And let me show you what you can do managing your agents. So inside your inbox, you can actually come in, and I'll open up one of these right here. Inside your inbox, you actually have what we call collaborators. This is where you can pick from a list of users and you can add them to the inbox. So if you have multiple clients in one account, you may have an inbox per client, and you may have certain agents that only work on certain inboxes, right? Or you may be using it in like a sales department versus a tech support department. You can go ahead and add the right users to the right inbox. So that's where you can do that right here. Make sure that they are added to the inbox or they can't see the details. So great question. The other way you can do it if you're doing support for multiple sub accounts is obviously the switch sub account button up here on the right. You can jump into different accounts, but having them all in one account with the agents assigned to it's definitely going to be the easier way to go. So one person saying I misunderstood the question. So I don't know who that is because it says Facebook user. So feel free to reword it and drop it in the chat, and I'm happy to answer again. Let's see. We got some other questions in here. So when is the calendar 2.0 going to be out? So we have the calendar 2.0 that's still going through testing right now. We're trying to get that out this week. So everything is going good, coming along really well. Can't wait to show you guys. And actually, when we were developing the calendar 2.0, I think we stumbled across something that's going to be super amazing too. That was going to be awesome. So I guess I'll give you guys a tease. So we're going to be making like I call it like a virtual assistant feature in the calendar that's going to really help people make bookings even when they're not inside FlowTrack. So that's all I'm going to say for now, but stay tuned. We got something really exciting on that front. I think that people haven't seen before. So stay tuned on that. But yeah, this week, trying to get it out this week, closer to the end of the week. Great question. Okay, so this person was saying actually the icon libraries. So great question. Icon libraries, we only have the Font Awesome icon library now. So if you have another one that you want, definitely let us know and add it to the roadmap. So for those of you that haven't seen the roadmap, you can go to roadmap.flowtrack.co. Make sure you get all the things that you want listed on the roadmap. You can kind of upvote them. That kind of tells us what is the highest priority thing we should focus on. If you guys want other icon libraries like Material UI, etc., just go ahead and add it on here. And then we got Rami asking on the mobile app. So now that iOS 16 is launched, you want to get the push notifications. So the push notifications are coming in a version of iOS 16. They're actually not available yet from Apple. So they told us that it's going to be in iOS 16. So stay tuned for that. Once that is in there, you're going to get push notifications for everything. So we don't know exactly when it is going to be in iOS 16. It's not in the initial release of iOS 16, which is obviously already here, but they did say it's going to be in iOS 16. So stay tuned, and great question on that. And let's say this person's asking, how do you add another agent to a team in chat? So that's a great question, and it's really easy, right? So all you got to do is add a user. So inside your database, right, you can add users. And so once you add a user, that user you can add to an inbox. So create a user, you can come in, like create contact your user, click on this. You can give them access to your system, and let's say it's a person on your team, a support person, salesperson, etc. Once you do that, you can then see that user in the list to add it to the chat inbox. So great question. We got another person asking about Google My Business Chat yet. So we don't have Google My Business Chat yet. We have had a few people asking about that. So if that is important to you, please go in on the roadmap and upvote that, because we're going to be working on that list based on demand. So that's a great question. And we got another person asking, is it possible to add someone not through the chat, internal communication? So I assume you're talking about like contact details when you're pulling up a contact, that sort of thing. We don't have that, the ability to add people inside, let's say, a note or something, but that's a really great idea too. So check if that's on the roadmap as well, and please upvote that. But that's a great idea. We do have that ability in the chat, of course. You can add people, you can do private notes, right? So here's an example right here, at system demo, which is my username. And then you actually have the ability on the top to see mentions in the inbox. So this little option up here, mentions, is going to show you where someone has added you or mentioned you in a chat. And I would love to expand that and add that into the contact details and tasks and other places. That's a great question. Let's see. This person's asking how to put SMS option in a form. So don't know your question exactly what that is, but we do have SMS. Obviously, we do support SMS. You can do forms. So if you can clarify that question a little bit more, I'm happy to help. You can have someone fills out a form, it sends them an SMS. There's a lot you can do with SMS and forms. Let's see. When is the Facebook Messenger going to be released? So Facebook Messenger is still being tested as well. That one's probably going to be going out the same time as the affiliate tracking or tracking system. They're pretty closely related. I'm sure that doesn't make sense, but on the back end, they're pretty closely related. So feature-wise, not really related, but Good question. But stay tuned on that. Let's see. This person was asking for a click to call function. So that's a great question. So I saw someone asking in the group the other day about how to do a click to call, and we have on the website builder the link helper right here. So if you click on something, you want to make it a link, you can actually come in here, and it's kind of hidden, right? You have to actually scroll down. Some people haven't noticed there's a little scroll here. So we're going to get that a little bit more compressed so you can see it. But when you're making something a link, you can actually select this option, phone number, and just type in your phone number with the area code, and that's going to generate that click to call button on your website automatically for you. So great question. And I did see someone else in the group ask for like an SMS link in here too. So I think that's a great idea. We'll definitely get that on the list as well. All right, so we got some other questions. This one's saying, I'm not seeing any other users but myself and the agents for the chat inbox. So the thing that you want to check is make sure that your users actually have chat in their role. So if you're creating a user and let's say they can't see the chat, you want to go into your settings, check the role that this user has, right? And you can see, let's say if it's a client role, etc., do they have the chat cloud enabled, right? And so the chat can be either, you can be either an admin on the chat, which means you see everything, all inboxes, or you can be an agent. So check that they're in there and that's enabled. And let me know if you have any questions on that, and reach out to support if you have any issues seeing that user, and we're happy to help. Let's see. Is it possible to add custom fields in the website builder so I can make a progress report or something? So custom field, if you can give me an example of that, custom field. So, I mean, we have the custom code element. You can make custom codes, anything in the website builder too. We also have the forms. You can have fields on the forms. If you can clarify that question a little bit more, I appreciate it. Let's see. This person was talking about the mention in the conversation, like Slack. We just went over that one. That's a great idea. This one person is saying, thank you. I'll back at you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Let's see. Personalization for the first name or a custom field from a form. So customization from that perspective. So there is a way now, and there's going to be a better way in the future. So the way that you can do it now, if you want to personalize something on a page, you can really just pass that data in the query string, right? That does require a little bit of JavaScript, right? You can have a flow redirect to another step. And let me just show you a quick example of that. So let's say you're building a flow and this person is actually filling out a form. I have one of these in the home services demo we did the other day. So let's say you submit the form, right? And then you redirect the visitor to another URL. Well, in this URL, you can actually pass some data, right? And this could be the URL of a page in the website builder. Could be another third-party URL. But in this example, we were putting in the quote from the home services demo, and then we're passing in the first name of the contact. So if you do it that way, you can, personalize the page and say, hey, Mike, here's your home services quote. You can do something like that. That's how you can do it today. But in the future, we want to make it so you can use the same variables you use in the flow on the website builder. So you can just have a little variable snippet you can copy and paste. But definitely check this way out today. Let's see. So we'll be adding more detail to, we'll be adding more detailed training other than the current video. So we're making more and more training on our help portal every day. So as the team is getting, different support requests and different tasks, they come in and they update the online help desk. So you can always find new content in here. And for those of you that saw the announcement the other day, we're actually including this on GitHub now. So we open source the help docs for our customers, so they can come in and customize that if they want. So great question on that one. And if you have any other topics that you guys want to see, definitely let us know, right? We get all of our great ideas on what to do next based on what you guys want. So if you guys want other topics and videos, drop it in the comments or send me a message. And we got someone saying, how do we become more than a Facebook user on StreamYard? So that's a great question. And I don't know, right? So StreamYard just shows Facebook user for some people. I think this app may not be a part of the group. That's why it says Facebook user. So great question. Let's see. And that looks like it's all the questions for now. So if you guys have any other questions, definitely let us know. Drop it in the comments below and we'll be reading those. And I appreciate all of you guys. We got some great announcements on the calendar to come. Can't wait to show you guys all of that. And we got also on Wednesday, we got our Caviar Wednesday at 3 p.m. We're going to be doing a mastermind session. So if you guys haven't signed up for that already, definitely check out the Facebook group. That's FlowTrack Official. And just search for Caviar. You can find the link to register for Caviar Wednesdays. So that's all for today. And have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Talk soon.